Good evening. This is All India Radio. I am Valsa Williams and with me is Renuka with the evening news. The headlines. India to roll out 6G technology by end of this decade, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Silver Jubilee celebration event of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Prime Minister asserts 5G technology to bring positive changes in governance of the country. Government announces relaxation on wheat export ban, allows export of consignments registered prior to 13th May. Supreme Court asks Varanasi District Magistrate to ensure protection of Shivling area without hindering prayer. Next hearing on 19th May. Prime Minister reiterates India's commitment to improve ease of doing business in film sector. At 75th Cannes Film Festival, India Pavilion to focus on positioning India as the content hub of the world. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur to inaugurate it tomorrow. 3 Indian pugilists ensure medals for the country as they enter semi-finals of Women's World Boxing Championships in Istanbul. Odisha defeats Karnataka 2-0 in final of 12th Hockey India Senior Women's National Championship in Bhopal. And in IPL cricket, match between Mumbai Indians and Sunrisers Hyderabad underway in Mumbai. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said the government has infused new energy in the telecom sector in the last 8 years with the Panchamrit of reach, reform, regulate, respond and revolutionize. Mr. Modi was addressing the Silver Jubilee celebration event of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India TRAI through video conferencing in New Delhi today. Mr. Modi said India's telecom sector is a great example of self-reliance, adding that the connectivity in the 21st century India will determine the pace of progress of the nation. On the occasion, the Prime Minister also launched a 5G test bed and said this indigenous 5G test bed in the telecom sector is an important step in India's self-reliance.
मुझे देश को अपना खुद से निर्मित 5G टेस्ट बेड राष्ट्र को समर्पित करने का अवसर मिला है। ये टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में क्रिटिकल और आधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी की आत्मनिर्भरता की दिशा में एक अहम कदम है। मैं इस प्रोजेक्ट से जुड़े सभी साथियों को, हमारे IITs को बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। साथ ही मैं देश के युवा साथियों को, रिसर्चर्स और कंपनीज को आमंत्रित करता हूं कि वो उस टेस्टिंग फैसिलिटी का उपयोग 5G टेक्नोलॉजी के निर्माण के लिए करें। विशेष रूप से हमारे स्टार्टअप्स के लिए अपने प्रोडक्ट टेस्ट करने का ये बहुत बड़ा अवसर है। यही नहीं, 5GI के रूप में जो देश का अपना 5G स्टैंडर्ड बनाया गया है, वो देश के लिए बहुत गर्व की बात है।
The Prime Minister added the 5G technology is a huge opportunity for startups to grow and test their products. The Prime Minister also said 5G will help in improving governance, ease of living and ease of doing business in the country. Describing the 2G era as a symbol of policy paralysis and corruption, Mr. Modi said the nation has moved transparently to 4G and now 5G. He asserted that the country should be able to launch 6G service by the end of this decade, as the task force has started working on it.
कि आने वाले 1.5 दशक में 5G से भारत की अर्थव्यवस्था में $450 बिलियन का योगदान होने वाला है। ये सिर्फ इंटरनेट की गति नहीं, बल्कि प्रगति और एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेशन की गति को भी बढ़ाने वाला है। इसलिए 5G तेजी से रोल आउट हो, इसके लिए सरकार और इंडस्ट्री दोनों को कलेक्टिव एफर्ट्स की जरूरत है। इस दशक के अंत तक हम 6G सर्विस बिल लॉन्च कर पाए, इसके लिए भी हमारी टास्क फोर्स काम करना शुरू कर चुकी। हमारा प्रयास है कि टेलीकॉम सेक्टर और 5G टेक्नोलॉजी में हमारे स्टार्टअप तेजी से तैयार हो, ग्लोबल चैंपियन बने।
The Prime Minister said the government has encouraged healthy competition, which has led to India having the cheapest telecom data charges. He also said the tele-density and internet users are fast expanding in the country. The mobile manufacturing units in India have also expanded from 2 to over 200, and today the country is the world's biggest mobile manufacturing hub. Speaking on the occasion, Communications, Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav said the country has developed a complete 4G stack, while the 5G technology stack is in the advanced stage.
Today, our scientists and engineers have developed a complete 4G technology stack which is ready for deployment by BSNL, and the 5G technology stack is also in very good advanced stage of development. By the end of this year, we should see our own indigenously developed 5G technology stack.
Speaking at the event, Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting Dr. L. Murugan said TRAI has continuously worked to protect the interest of service providers and consumers of telecom and broadcasting sector. In his address, Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra said the reach, scope and employment is huge in the broadcasting sector. During the event, the Prime Minister also released a postal stamp to commemorate the Silver Jubilee celebrations of TRAI.
The government has announced some relaxation on wheat exports ban. It has been decided that wherever wheat consignments have been handed over to customs for examination and have been registered into their systems on or prior to the 13th of this month, such consignments would be allowed to be exported. The centre has also allowed a wheat consignment headed for Egypt, which was already under loading at the Kandla port. This followed a request by the Egyptian government. The government decided to permit the full consignment of over 61,000 metric ton and allowed it to sail from Kandla to Egypt. Earlier, the government had restricted wheat exports to manage the overall food security situation in India and to support the needs of neighbouring and vulnerable countries that are adversely affected by the sudden changes in the global market for wheat. More than 180 lakh tons of wheat have been procured so far from 5 states in the Rabi marketing season 2022-23. These states are Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and Himachal Pradesh. The Consumer Affairs Ministry said it has benefited 16,99,000 farmers with minimum support price value of 36,412 crore rupees. The ministry said paddy procurement is progressing smoothly in Kharif marketing season 2021-22. Over 777 lakh metric tons of paddy have been procured so far in the country. With the procurement of paddy, over 1 crore 11 lakh farmers have been benefited with minimum support price value of over 1,52,000 crore rupees.
The Supreme Court today asked the Varanasi District Magistrate to protect the area where the shivling was found without impeding the right of Muslims to enter and worship. The court will hear the matter again on the 19th of May. Meanwhile, the Varanasi court today removed Advocate Commissioner Ajay Kumar Mishra from his post. Mishra was responsible for the filming and carrying out the survey of the Kashi Vishwanath Temple Gyanvapi Mosque complex. The court also granted 2 days extension for the submission of the committee's survey report. Earlier yesterday, the Varanasi court directed the district administration to seal the spot in the mosque complex where a shivling was claimed to have been found during the videography survey. The Supreme Court was hearing a plea by the Committee of Management of Anjuman Intizamiya Masjid, Varanasi, challenging the videography survey ordered by a local court of the Mashringar Gauri Sthal in the complex. Home Minister Amit Shah held a review meeting in New Delhi today on the security situation in Jammu and Kashmir. The meeting was attended by the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir, Manoj Sinha, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, Chief of Army Staff, senior officials of the centre and the Jammu and Kashmir administration. Mr. Shah directed security forces and the police to conduct coordinated counter-terrorism operations proactively. He said security forces should ensure zero cross-border infiltration to wipe out terrorism in the Union Territory in order to fulfill Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of a prosperous and peaceful Jammu and Kashmir. Home Minister Amit Shah has said it is the government's priority that the pilgrims coming for the Amarnath Yatra should have hassle-free darshan without facing any problems. Mr. Shah today reviewed the preparations for Amarnath Yatra at a high-level meeting in New Delhi. He also directed that arrangements should be made for all essential facilities including movement, lodging, electricity, water, communication and health of the Amarnath Yatris.
In yet another endeavour to ensure last-mile air connectivity, the Union government is now focusing on encouraging air carriers to operate smaller aircraft, seaplanes and helicopters under the Small Aircraft Scheme. In an exclusive interview with All India Radio, Union Civil Aviation Minister Jyotiraditya Scindia today said the country will witness many new routes under the scheme. Highlighting the merits of Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik, Udan scheme, the Civil Aviation Minister said about 1,80,000 flights have been operated and around 95 lakh common people have travelled under the scheme so far. He said Udan is a huge leap forward in the direction of democratization of air travel envisioned by Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Extremely ambitious program to increase connectivity and penetration to the last mile in India. Currently in India, we have 144 million flyers, which talks about a penetration of around 9 to 10% of our total population. It was the Prime Minister's dream and his sankalp that we must democratize air travel. And therefore, Udan is a huge leap forward towards that goal. Udan is a scheme that has started in 2016. As on date, we have close to about 419 operational routes through Udan, which never existed before.
Terming Krishi Udan Scheme 2.0 an important pillar for the growth of agriculture sector, he said the scheme helped in transportation of perishable food products across the country and globally from far-flung areas. The Election Commission of India will lead democracy cohort on election integrity in partnership with 100 democratic countries. A 4-member U.S. delegation led by Uzra Zaya, Under-Secretary for Civilian Security, Democracy and Human Rights, called on the Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar and Election Commissioner Anup Chandra Pandey at Nirvachan Sadan in New Delhi today.
Health Minister Dr. Mansukh Mandavia has said that health and wellness centres will play a pivotal role in providing affordable and accessible health care for all. Releasing the Health and Wellness Third-Party Evaluation Report in New Delhi this evening, Dr. Mandavia said the government intends to provide best healthcare facilities to the person standing at the last mile.
38,000 हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर कार्यरत थे, जिसको मिनिमम 1 वर्ष चला हुआ हो और उसका क्या आउटपुट निकला। प्रधानमंत्री जी का विजन वो फुलफिल हो रहा है क्या। हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर पर आई हुई एक वृद्ध महिला को पूछा गया कि कैसा आपका अनुभव रहा, तो कहा कि मुझे नियमित यहाँ से मेरे घर के नजदीक मुझे ट्रीटमेंट मिल जाती है और मेडिसिन भी मिल जाती है, तो उसकी सफलता है। प्राइमरी हेल्थ सेंटर यानी कि गाँव में रहने वाले गरीब व्यक्ति को अपने नजदीक के सेंटर पर आके उसको स्पेशलिस्ट डॉक्टर का मार्गदर्शन मिले, ये बहुत बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण काम है। और आने वाले दिनों में हेल्थ एंड वेलनेस सेंटर के द्वारा हम लास्ट माइल, एक लास्ट झोपड़ी में रहने वाले एक गरीब व्यक्ति को अपने घर के नजदीक कैसे बेस्ट ट्रीटमेंट मिले या तो बेस्ट मार्गदर्शन मिले, ये बहुत आवश्यक होता है।
Over 191 crore 48 lakh vaccine doses have been administered so far under the nationwide vaccination drive. The Health Ministry said over 10,78,000 doses were administered yesterday. The recovery rate is currently at 98.75%. 1,569 new cases were recorded in the last 24 hours. Today is World Hypertension Day. It is observed on the 17th of May every year to create awareness about hypertension and its symptoms. Hypertension, also known as high blood pressure, occurs when the blood pressure rises to the level of 140/90. Over 1 billion people suffer from hypertension globally. It is one of the major causes of cardiovascular disease and premature death. Though hypertension is usually experienced by older people, it is now being seen in the younger population as well. Here is a desk report.
Hypertension is the risk factor for heart disease, stroke, renal complications and premature death. Usually high blood pressure alone does not cause any symptoms. Fortunately, hypertension can be prevented and managed by checking your blood pressure regularly and through treatment. The theme for World Hypertension Day 2022 is Measure Your Blood Pressure Accurately, Control It and Live Longer. So, get tested, know your numbers and live longer. This is Subhasri for AIR News Delhi.
Talking to All India Radio, Dr. Swati Maheshwari, an internal medicine specialist, stressed on regular checkups and yoga.
First of all, that what we need to understand is that hypertension is a silent killer, and most of the people don't know that they are suffering from high blood pressure, and internally the organs are getting damaged with the high blood pressure that is there. So one thing very important is that we should get our regular checkups done, and we should know what our blood pressure levels generally are. So that is one thing that we should be very clear and we should be knowing of. The other thing is that most of the people have this myth in their mind that if blood pressure medicine starts, then it is for lifelong. Generally, it's not the case. In case, if you are very, careful about your diet, if you make changes in your exercise routine, if you do a lot of de-stressing activities, then you can bring your blood pressure down and you can get off the drug also. So it's mostly depends on you as to how much can you control your own lifestyle changes. And if you do that, then we have seen a lot of patients go off the medicine and they don't require lifetime.
Railways Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw said that India has started manufacturing hydrogen fuel-based rail engines in the country. He said the idea of hydrogen fuel-based trains envisaged during the discussions on rail connectivity to Ladakh. Mr. Ashwini Vaishnaw participated in a virtual inauguration of NIELIT Leh and Kargil, an IT-enabled incubation center in handicraft handloom sectors in Leh. You are listening to the evening news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India to roll out 6G technology by end of this decade, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Silver Jubilee celebration event of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Prime Minister asserts 5G technology to bring positive changes in governance of the country. Government announces relaxation on wheat export ban, allows export of consignment registered prior to 13th of May. Supreme Court asks Varanasi District Magistrate to ensure protection of Shivling area without hindering prayer. Next hearing on 19th of May. Prime Minister reiterates India's commitment to improve ease of doing business in film sector. At 75th Monsoon Festival, Indian Pavilion to focus on positioning India at the content hub of the world. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur to inaugurate it tomorrow. 3 Indian pugilists ensure medals for the country as they enter semi-finals of Women's World Boxing Championships in Istanbul. Odisha defeats Karnataka 2-0 in final of the 12th Hockey India Senior Women's National Championship in Bhopal. And in IPL cricket, match between Mumbai Indians and Sunrisers Hyderabad underway in Mumbai. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts.
कंपटीशन की अगर आप कर रहे हैं तैयारी तो उनके लिए ऑल इंडिया रेडियो पर हम लाए हैं अभ्यास, एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम जिसमें आप पूछेंगे सवाल व्हाट्सएप नंबर 9289094044 पर या फिर ईमेल करेंगे abhyas.airnews@gmail.com पर और हमारे विशेषज्ञ देंगे इसका जवाब। इस बार का विषय है एंथ्रोपोलॉजी और सवाल भेजने की अंतिम तारीख है 18 मई। आपका अभ्यास हमारा प्रयास।
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर
8700014242।
Welcome back to the evening news. The second day of President Ramnath Kovind's visit to Jamaica concluded with his address to the Indian community. Speaking on the occasion, the President stressed upon the role that the diaspora plays in the cultural history of the two nations.
Jamaican Indians strengthen the deep root of our cultural linkages and enrich our multifaceted partnership. The Indian diaspora is a living bridge between our two countries. It is a matter of pride for us that members of the Indian diaspora are recognized at the highest level for their contribution to Jamaica. We are very proud of the achievements of the Indian community in Jamaica. India's external engagement has undergone a sea change in the last few years. We have now brought the diaspora at the center stage of our action and engagement.
Also present on the occasion was the Law Minister of Jamaica, Marlene Malahu Forte. She expressed her delight at the visit of the President.
I'm Marlene Malahoo Ford, the Law Minister of Jamaica, and we are just absolutely delighted to have His Excellency the President here with us in Jamaica. Jamaica and India have very good fraternal relations, and as you see, there is a large Indian community here, and I think the President will report that he has been enjoying himself.
President Ramnath Kovind is on a state visit to Jamaica and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This is the first ever head of the state-level visit to the Caribbean nations. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu asked the defence forces to be always on the alert to thwart any challenges that may be faced by the country. He interacted with the Tri-Services officers who are undergoing training in the Defence Services Staff College at Wellington near Ooty in Tamil Nadu today. Mr. Naidu said India has always been promoting peace and tranquility in the region, adding it has never invaded any country any time. Stressing that the country's guiding principle has always been the welfare of all, in the principle of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, he said the nation will give a fitting reply if it is faced with any adventurous action by any external forces.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed happiness at India's participation as country of honour at the Cannes Film Festival this year. In a message, the Prime Minister noted that India's participation comes at the momentous meeting of celebration of 75 years of India's independence, 75th anniversary of Cannes Film Festival, and 75 years of diplomatic relations between India and France. Positioning India as the largest film-producing country in the world, the Prime Minister said, multifariousness of Indian film sector is remarkable and rich heritage and cultural diversity are its strengths. He said, India has a lot of stories to be told and the country truly possesses immense potential to become the content hub of the world. Mr. Modi reiterated India's commitment to improve ease of doing business in the film sector. He said, from facilitating international film co-production to ensuring single window clearance mechanism for permissions for filming across the country, India offers seamless possibilities to filmmakers of the world. Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Thakur has said the India Pavilion at the 75th Cannes Film Festival will focus on positioning India as the content hub of the world. In a newspaper article, the minister wrote that India's presence at Cannes this year holds significance in many ways. He said it will be for the first time that India's red carpet lineup captures the diversity of country's cinematic excellence. The minister said the celebration of India at Cannes and the recognition of its cinematic excellence the world over is set to manifest the country into the content hub of the world. The Union Minister reached Cannes today and took a tour of the India Pavilion at the Cannes Film Festival on the shores of Mediterranean Sea. The India Pavilion will be inaugurated by him tomorrow.
A no-confidence motion against Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa was defeated in Parliament today after 119 MPs voted against it. The motion to suspend the Parliament standing orders to debate the motion of displeasure against the President was moved by the opposition party, Tamil National Alliance MP M.A. Sumantiran. Out of the total MPs, only 68 MPs voted in favour of the motion, thus it was not taken up for the debate in the Parliament. Minister for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions, Dr. Jitendra Singh, has said that India's shining governance and electoral reforms are being emulated by several countries in the world. Dr. Singh said this while interacting with the permanent secretaries of the Government of Gambia who are currently in India for 1 week capacity building program on public policy and governance. He told the secretaries to adopt technology-based reforms in administration. Dr. Singh said India is celebrating its 75th year of independence as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, and it is the fittest occasion to underline that bilateral relations between India and Gambia have been very cordial and friendly. The minister said in the last nearly 8 years, India has resorted to use of technology and governance reforms in a massive way for achieving end-to-end service delivery without human intervention.
Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla launched the second phase of Suposhit Ma Abhiyan in Kota, Rajasthan today. In the campaign, 3,000 women will be given nutrition kits for 9 months with the help of public support, and health checkup will be done every month. Shri Birla called upon every able-bodied family to take responsibility for the health of a woman. He said that by creating awareness about women's health through collective efforts, the health of the coming generations can also be ensured. Shri Birla said that Suposhit Ma Abhiyan was started by identifying 1,000 women in Kota Bundi parliamentary constituency in the year 2020 to overcome the nutritional deficiency among women. Its results were encouraging. In Uttarakhand, Char Dham Yatra is in full swing. More than 3 lakh devotees have visited Char Dham since the start of the yatra. The state government and district administration are continuously monitoring the arrangements for yatra. Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami and Tourism Minister Satpal Maharaj have appealed to the pilgrims to register for the yatra. Chief Minister has appealed to the physically unwell devotees to travel only after consulting a doctor.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated the Indian contingent for the best ever performance at the recently concluded Deaflympics. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said every athlete of the Indian contingent is an inspiration for their fellow citizens. The Prime Minister will host the entire contingent at his residence on the 21st of this month. In the 12th IBA Women's World Boxing Championships, Indian boxers Nikhat Zareen, Manisha and Parveen continued their brilliant run to confirm 3 medals for the country by entering the semi-finals in Istanbul yesterday. The semi-final matches will take place tomorrow, while the finals will be played on Thursday and Friday.
Odisha were crowned as the champions of the 12th Hockey India Senior Women National Championship 2022 in Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, with a thrilling 2-0 victory over Karnataka in the final of the competition. The final match was closely contested, a affair between Karnataka and Odisha. Both the teams started well as they created several goal-scoring opportunities. However, solid defensive performances from both the sides ensured that the match went into the half-time with score line reading 0-0. Jharkhand beat Haryana 3-2 to earn third-place finish. In IPL cricket, Sunrisers Hyderabad were 164 for 2 in 16 overs against Mumbai Indians at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai when reports last came in. The Sensex and the Nifty today gained more than 2.5%. Both indices rose amid positive global cues. A report from the business desk.
The Sensex climbed 1,345 points to finish at 54,318, while the Nifty surged 417 points to settle at 16,259. At the forex market, the rupee strengthened 26 paisa against the US dollar and closed at 77 rupees and 57 paisa. Gold prices gained 165 rupees at multi-commodity exchange for June contracts and was trading at 50,415 rupees per 10 gram. Silver prices also rose to 61,145 rupees per kilogram, and global crude oil prices hit their highest in 7 weeks. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at around $114.40 per barrel. Anubha Rohatgi for AIR News.
In Assam, nearly 2 lakh people are reeling under the fury of floods in 20 districts. 2 persons were killed today due to floods, while 3 others went missing in Kasar district. Surging water washed away bridges, roads. In a few places, surging water flooded residential as well as agricultural lands. Assam has witnessed 17.1 millimeters rainfall during the last 24 hours. Nearly 33,000 flood-hit people are staying at relief camps. Several ministers have visited the flood-hit districts to take stock of the situation. Now let us have a look at the weather forecast for tomorrow. National capital Delhi will have a mainly clear sky. Temperature will hover between 28 and 43 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Minimum temperature will be 27 degrees. Maximum expected to be around 35. Chennai will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will experience partly cloudy sky. Srinagar will have a mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Jammu to have a mainly clear sky. Leh and Gilgit will have a partly cloudy sky. Muzaffarabad will have mainly clear sky becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon or evening. Now before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India to roll out 6G technology by end of this decade, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi at Silver Jubilee celebration event of Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. Prime Minister asserts 5G technology to bring positive changes in governance in the country. Government announces relaxation on wheat export ban, allows export of consignments registered prior to 13th May. Supreme Court asked Varanasi District Magistrate to ensure protection of Shivling area without hindering prayer. Next hearing on 19th May. Prime Minister reiterates India's commitment to improve ease of doing business in film sector. At 75th Cannes Film Festival, India Pavilion to focus on positioning India as the content hub of the world. INB Minister Anurag Thakur to inaugurate it tomorrow. 3 Indian pugilists ensure medals for the country as they enter semi-finals of Women's World Boxing Championships in Istanbul. Odisha defeats Karnataka 2-0 in final of 12th Hockey India Senior Women's National Championship in Bhopal. And with that, we end the evening news. Good night.